What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball coach reaction to Haikyuu, Season 4, Episode 21. There are so many cool parallels, and thank you for bringing up that moment where when Asahi was blocked by Aone and was getting discouraged, Nishinoya was the one that backed him up and uplifted his spirits. And now it's the flip side. When Nishinoya is down, Asahi is right there to back him up. And that's what we all have to do for each other, especially on a volleyball team. This comment made me crack up. I never thought of it, but it makes so much sense that Kita is every Asian parent's dream. Just repetitive routines. Go home, sweep the floor, clean your room, do your homework, get good grades, just go through it. And don't do anything too crazy, right? Just know what you're capable of and be consistent with your routine. And that's definitely something we can all learn from, all joking aside. Thanks for this heads up to help me differentiate between the twins when they have the same colored hair. I don't know why the animator decided to do that. I'm assuming it's a flashback before they started dyeing the hair to kind of give it some time reference. So I will be on the lookout for their different eye colors, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to mix them up anyway. I'll probably have to base on the personalities, because I think the younger brother, who I already forgot his name, I think he tends to be the more energetic, outbursty, reactive type, and the older brother is kind of the more scolding, serious type, who is Asumu, if I'm correct. It's funny that you point out Yanagita, how Kita is his favorite player, because Yanagita is actually one of my favorite volleyball players to watch. If you don't know who he used to play for the Japanese men's national team. Very undersized hitter, but very effective attacker, and he's got a wicked arm and a very deceptive tip. So I would love to interview Yanagita one day and hear why his favorite character is Kita, because their personalities are very different. Yanagita was a starter and very explosive and dynamic, whereas Kita was kind of more experienced, filling in the gaps, kind of like Daichi in that way, and not the most explosive or physical athlete. But I'm pretty sure Kita's attitude is Yanagita's favorite aspect, not necessarily his physical skill. Don't forget, if you want early access to all of my Haikyuu reaction videos, make sure you sign up for my Patreon linked below, where we're currently offering a spring sale where you'll get 10% off your annual subscription, because as soon as Season 4 is over, we're going to react all the way back from Season 1, Episode 1, and really enjoy and savor those Haikyuu moments even more, because I know I've missed so much information, and it'll be so fun to look at all the stories and characters from a broader perspective. So make sure you guys join me for that journey by signing up for my Patreon. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. Man, got that pulsing bass. Oh no. I see some subpar animation here. Some choppiness. That was some good setting technique following through. Let's go back there. I think that's Asuma, man. I just got to get these names straight at some point. So when you're setting, especially if you're jump setting and you're going to be using mostly your arms, you want to follow through in the direction that you want to set. You don't want to let go or spread your hands. Here's the ironic part, is that Kageyama is touted as one of the best setters in this anime, but for some reason they always animate his hands spreading apart, and that's actually not very good technique. If you think about Kageyama setting like that, his force, like 20 or 30% of the force is going sideways, and also you're losing direction on the ball. You always want to follow through in the direction that you want to set. And I would say Asumu actually has better setting technique, which makes sense because I remember he was ranked higher or viewed as a better setter at the Japanese youth national team camp. So in that respect, it does make sense, but don't spread your hands when you're setting. That's the bottom line. Set like Asumu here. Alright, he faked out Tsuki and tired Aran. Let's see how tired he is. Oh, that's right. Kageyama goes in for that huge drop left arm block. Oh, Rintaro. I don't understand what he said about this guy's way scarier than Four Eyes over here. Okay, so he's referring to Kageyama being a bigger threat or scarier, as Rintaro put it, than Tsuki. That's some respect. But there's something deeper inside Tsuki that is waiting to come out. Hero. Who's the hero? That's got to be Kita. But if he's the hero, that means he's going to come in and beat Karasuno, then Karasuno's gonna lose. Man, that was a pretty complex offense here. Is he gonna jump and set it? Man, Hinata's so cute. Always he just can't contain himself. Man, I love that they're analyzing video. Aha, that's a good way to put it. 1-on-6. It's not just 1-on-1. Ooh, Tsuki giving some feedback here. He's very realistic about his ability. Oh, is he gonna shut down Rintaro? Oh, the lean comes, and he's gonna drop his hand. Nope. Daichi finally stays wide enough on defense to dig it. It's about time. And Tsuki's doing his job by funneling. And then he becomes a decoy in transition. This is where we have to praise Tsuki. I really like his arc. It's been a very slow progression, but it makes sense because he's just kind of more of a subtle character. So to reiterate what Tsuki is saying, 1-on-6 versus 1-on-1. I love that. I'm going to start using that when I coach, that it's not just one hitter against one blocker, it's one hitter against 6 players. And so even if Tsuki never is able to block Rintaro, he can do his job by making it easier for the defense to dig around. So what we call funneling the ball to a defender. And Daichi finally does his job, like I said earlier, and stays on the outside of the ball versus letting the ball get outside of his body. And then Tsuki does double duty by being a decoy. Let's see it here. Yeah, he becomes a decoy and he is able to make the middle blocker late for Inari. Who would have rushed after the ball? If they try to fully stop him, they okay, that means Rintaro might end up tooling him if they try to chase that ball too much. Alright, here's an interesting question. As a middle blocker, and Camilo, who's currently one of my volleyball students, he's a really good middle blocker who's worked his butt off. We talk a lot of Haikyu. I think I know his answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So Camilo, if you're listening, put your answer in the comments. We'll see how well I know you. If you had 2 choices, would you rather get 5 stuff blocks and help cause 10 digs? Or would you rather have 0 stuff blocks and have 30 digs behind you? And obviously in a game, it's going to be a mix of both. I think it's very rare that you'll get 0 stuff blocks and all these digs behind you. But I think that begs the question of, depending on the team, your role might be very different. Sometimes your role might be physically stopping the middle. Sometimes your role is accepting that I might not be able to block this middle attacker, but I can at least make it easier for my defense around me to dig. So that's the question that you should be asking yourself all the time as a middle. And I think we see that contrast between Kuro and Tsuki. Cross corner shot. Let's see what adjustment they make. It's impossible to dig every ball or block every ball. Because the more you see something, the more you know how to stop it. Oh, so true. Now he's gonna try to get into Tsuki's head, but you can't do that to Tsuki, man. He's gonna get in your head. Love it. So good, so good. He walks like a robot right there. He looks super buff. Tsuki is the king of comebacks. I can see why you guys like Tsuki. Took me 4 seasons though before I started liking him. That's interesting encouragement for Kinoshita to say go score 10 points. Obviously I think he knows he's not going to score 10 points. But maybe that Suga knows that's what's going to trigger him to be aggressive and to be a good server he knows. 28th mental service ace. I wonder what he means by that. Let's see what his routine is. That's right. Focus in on just one or two details. Focus in on your task at hand. Ooh, that's a great animation there. Save all the money for this animation. Yeah, that ball's still wobbling even as it's leaving his hands. Oh, he got... Is he gonna dig it now? Oh no! That was a great serve, but that was an amazing pass. Let's go watch that pass again. By the way, this is not just a random plug of me promoting my new Facebook that I launched. I actually just revamped an old YouTube tutorial video that I'm revamping with new graphics, new in-game footage for my Elevate Yourself Facebook page. And we just talked about moving to the ball with your hands apart. No joke. James, put some evidence, put the video clip here of me talking about moving with my hands apart to pass a float serve. So here we see him hands apart, he's reading with his feet, he's moving with his feet first, and then he makes that last minute adjustment with his arms. So make sure you guys follow the Facebook, Elevate Yourself Facebook page, because there's going to be more revamped tutorials to come. And the videos will be a little different. We're editing them a little differently than we are for YouTube, so you'll get a different experience. Poor Kinoshita. He actually hit a very good serve, but sometimes the pass is better than the serve. That's volleyball. Yeah, you just accept that sometimes other people are going to be more athletic. Oh, I love this story of another bench player having his own moment. Yeah, that's frustrating. We all want that moment for ourselves, and it's so disheartening when we don't feel like we're contributing or getting that moment that we've been waiting so long for. But the solution is you got to keep going for it. What a good leader. You need leaders on the bench and on the court as well. So valuable. Oh, he probably wants to do this for the third years. I love that feeling of responsibility. Alright, we got that back one quick. Karasuno up 2 points. I already forgot if they played a 15 or they played a 25 in Japan at tournaments when they're playing best of 3. Oh, got that lucky ace. Those dribblers are so tasty in big moments, man. You just feel so relieved and so lucky. But when you're aggressive, good things happen more often than not. Oh, they're planning for Atsumu. Can you score as many points as you can before the best server comes on the line? Who's speaking now? Is that Nishinoya talking about he's scared? So he just had a fearful personality. Oh. I love another reference to our grandparents. Oh, with the young hottie over there. Yeah, it's funny how they use the word hottie too. Kind of reminded him back when he was that scared kid. This is a good lesson for a timeout. It's funny how everyone views them different, and Nishinoya is in his own category. It is a waste of time to be scared. How true. I'm gonna add to that. Wise words from Nishinoya's grandpa, who's a cool ass dude, still attracting the hotties at his old age. What's interesting is that they've zoomed in on Kinoshita during this speech here. Like, he's the one that is truly, I mean, everyone's eyes are wide open and listening because they're surprised that Nishinoya is even talking this much and admitting that he's scared. But Kinoshita looks to be especially related to this moment here. So I wonder if this is going to inspire Kinoshita to come back for another spectacular serving performance if they make it this far. But it's just so true. It is a waste of time to be scared. Now, much easier said than done, because fear usually happens because we can't control it, right? We don't choose to be fearful. But I think we can all choose how we manage and how we deal and how we try to prevent some of those fears from growing bigger than they could be. So it's not as simple as saying, don't be afraid, and then magically you're not going to be afraid. But self-talk, reminding yourself of a healthy perspective of, why do I have this fear? Does it make sense? What can I do to minimize it or make sense of it? And a lot of times when we involve our brain, we're able to help mitigate some of the uncontrollable emotions that we might feel. But I'm actually really curious to see why Kinoshita is having this light bulb moment and what's going to happen as a result of that. Karasuno's still up too, but oh, okay, it is time for Atsumi to serve, and everyone knows he's going to go off. Is he going to play the music? I got my hand up ready for the cue. Ooh, that's a tasty pepper, man. Come on. This is a freaking volleyball anime, and yet we have one of the best illustrated peppers I've ever seen. Not joking. I've seen some realistic paintings. This just feels like a toasted, grilled, succulent pepper. Let's zoom in on the char area. I mean, we already got these really unique wrinkly shadows. They're not just standard shadows where you have a smooth line. If you look at the contour of the shadows, they're actually all organically wrinkly. And then look at where the chopstick is pressed into the pepper. You see how the angle of the shadow is thin and angled away from the chopsticks to make it look like the chopstick is actually gripping the pepper. So not only do you get the interaction between the chopstick and the pepper, but you also get to feel that the texture of the pepper is pretty soft. And then you also know it's a pepper because peppers are shiny. So you look at the glare on the top of the pepper, and then the head or the stem of the pepper is also a different type of green and a different type of wrinkle to show the difference in those textures. And then you look on the outside edge of the pepper, how it's kind of furry. And if you've ever grilled a pepper before, the skin gets a little shriveled and kind of pulls apart. And the fact that they're able to capture all that detail just for 2 seconds of a grilled pepper, come on, what sports anime, what anime that doesn't have to do anything with food spends this much detail on food? Amazing, mind-blowing. That's usually a lot of kids' reactions when they eat vegetables sometimes. Oh, okay, he's forcing him to face his fears. So this is called shock therapy. Sometimes you just have to do what you're afraid of to just get it out of your system and get comfortable with being fearful. Such a waste to pass up opportunities to learn something new. So wise. I don't understand that part. But what if you're really scared? Have someone help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. So maybe he's saying when he's afraid, he's gonna ask help from his teammates. So personal from Atsumu. Is someone gonna cut off in front of Nishinoya? He's gonna ask for help. He's frozen. Yeah, I remember this scene very particularly. How much he... Oh, and it was with Kinoshita serving at him. I totally forgot about that. Don't just do what you're comfortable with. Very important lesson. Oh, Kinoshita helping him. Ooh, again, those goosebumps. I'm getting those goosebumps. Whoa. Amazing. Kinoshita. That's why it was zoomed in on him. This is Kinoshita's moment just as much as it is Nishinoya's. Ooh. Only had 4K film, you can see the goosebumps on my hands. Oh, that was a beautiful scene. Unfortunately, they had the low quality animation for that one. That was beautiful. We gotta watch that again. I thought it was gonna have to deal with maybe Nishinoya yelling. Nishinoya's backstory and Kinoshita's backstory, they've just woven that so beautifully. I mean, they are happening at the same time, and then they have this intersection. Is that why you guys said this episode was amazing? This is extra beautiful because I'm still kind of processing what happened. I mean, my heart is beating, still got the tingly fingers. So when Nishinoya was saying, I just have to ask someone for help if I'm still scared, and he's still scared, Nishinoya sharing that story was his way of asking people for help. And the entire team said, bring it. And I think Nishinoya was a little quiet because he maybe didn't want to receive the serve because he knew he was going to get served at his hands again. And then Kinoshita comes in and helps him and says, move up. And everyone, like Tanaka, Asahi, Hinata, everyone's had that yelling moment, right? And I thought Nishinoya was going to say, Sakoi! Wait, is that how you say bring it? Sakoi! I don't know. Let's say like, bring it! Something like that. And I thought he was going to yell and then have his glorious moment. But the fact that Kinoshita was the one that yelled, move up! And that was that yelling moment, and then Nishinoya just went for it and had his breakthrough moment. Like the walls of Dateko were opening up. This was his scene here. I'm surprised they didn't have an analogy like that, something opening up, like the sunrise or something grand for that. Oh, he just listened and took it with his hands. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that they had to use the lower quality animation for this scene. This one, they should have saved their money for this moment here to make it that much more special. Yeah, and Sahi just comes in and destroys it. These proportions are pretty bad. I mean, everyone just looks way too small. Look at Iran, look at the libero. The libero looks like a baby, like a 2-year-old kid on the court. Look how big the court is relative to them. I was enjoying it like 99% until we saw some of this animation, but it's still great. Can't complain too much. Nice kill! Oh, Karasuno's still up by 3. Oh, is he gonna look at Kinoshita? Yeah! Oh, this is Kinoshita's moment. Wow. Pointed to, he's being pointed at. Oh, yeah, that is, man, just when you thought the moment couldn't get more beautiful. Oh, man, we gotta watch that part again. So many rewinds in this one. Point. Oh, I knew he was gonna point at Kinoshita. I love giving credit to my setter or someone else who contributed to that moment. And he's bringing him into that celebration. This is a good teammate here. I'm glad they saved a good animation for this moment. That was a good one. Now time for the special halftime show where we're going to try out authentic Japanese treats from Tokyo Treat and Sakurako, which are 2 amazing monthly subscription services where you can have access to your own authentic Japanese snacks. With Tokyo Treat, you get to try some of the more modern, trendy snacks. And for this week, we're gonna eat the Sakura donut box. I wonder what a Japanese donut tastes like. Looks like this one comes with 3. They're pretty generous with their portions. You get a lot of snacks per month. I still have not finished the box from last month, and I'm starting to work on the one from this month. Definitely great to share with your friends. Interesting. It's a little bit hard, so should be crunchy. Let's see what the sounds like. It definitely tastes like a version of the American glazed donut, but a firmer, almost crunchy texture. Extra sweet on the outside, a little bit softer on the inside. Very yummy. Now for our more traditional experience from Sakurako, I've chosen a jelly for this week. Wish I could read Japanese. It's got a flower in there. I thought this was going to be a lychee jelly, but we'll see. A lot of the Sakurako snacks are paired with teas. Ooh, look at those juices. Don't want to spill that. Sorry if you don't like slurping sounds, but gotta slurp it. Almost like a almond jello, a little flowery taste. Definitely never had that unique flavor before. And slurping the juice was yummy, and you've heard me say this before, I have yet to have a bad snack. All of them are delicious. If you want to try your own Tokyo Treat or Sakurako snacks, make sure you use my discount code and link in the description box to get $5 off your first order. And you can enjoy your snacks while watching my Haikyu reaction videos. Let's get back to these fat birds here. Falsely flying fast with some animation tricks. And the foxes. And for one of you explain what the fox reference is. I think it was Inari. Junior volleyball class here. Oh, Aran's backstory. Okay, that's gotta be the twins there. Samu. This is confusing. So they're choosing their nicknames based on meeting Aran. Alright, I think the one in yellow is Atsumu. Jiba! Did they say Jiba? Okay, if they're talking about the legendary Jiba, he's retired from indoor volleyball, but he's one of the greatest volleyball players of all time. Outside hitter from Brazil. If you want to learn how to play volleyball, you gotta watch that guy. Okay, Tsumu is yellow. Samu is the setter. Have I been flipping their names in game this whole time? Okay, Tsumu is gonna play middle. It's cute that they keep checking in with each other. I wonder if they really are this nice at these youth Japanese volleyball camps. Oh, who's that? Seto. I wonder what about that scene made him think that setters are cool, even though the coach was just tossing the ball. Yes, that is one benefit of having siblings, is they're going to be really competitive. Osamu was a bit better than Atsumu, okay. So it's Asumu, okay, Sumu's the setter. Wait. Alright, I'm just going to be quiet, I'm going to read here. This reminds me of the McKibben brothers. They're always pushing each other to be better. Okay, Samu is the one trying the setter. Alright, those physics are a little bit off there. If you're going to set it like 20 to 30 feet in the air, the ball should be sitting in the hands a little longer, because in order to set that high, you actually have to load a little bit more. But because it's releasing so fast, it just kind of looks like it's being gravitated off the hands versus being actually pushed by the hands. So I would add 2 or 3 more frames into the hands before he releases it there. Ooh. Okay, Tsumu is the set. I think I've gotten it so far. Okay, yeah, Asamu ended up playing middle and Sumu ended up playing the setter, even though they tried different positions in the beginning. Oh, are they gossiping about their sets? I like this confrontation. You need to have these honest conversations. Figure it out. That's the tough part about having competitive people, like really competitive people. Sometimes they can be challenging to get along with because they want to win so badly, which is a great quality, but that can rub people the wrong way. Alright, so one brother is the nice guy and one's the mean competitive guy. So, Asumu is the more critical one. Oh, he's starting to talk like the old Kageyama. Damn, that guy's brutal. Or he knows that's gonna fire him up. I love it. This is what needs to happen. Sometimes you need to stand up to the bully. I like how the other guy is just recording. Oh, right back at him. Yeah, that's part of brotherly love right there, just getting each other's face. But I like that Osamu was not afraid to stand up to his brother. Sometimes people will ride you until you stand up to them, and that's why you need to be confident in who you are regardless of your performance. But when you get this brotherly camaraderie of always pushing each other, that's invaluable. That's like Kageyama and Hinata. They're kind of like brothers. I'm getting a lot of backstories this episode. Yeah, you just gotta let, as a coach, you just gotta let that happen, let it blossom. Maybe Samu secretly wants his brother to be there with him. He's kind of like Tsuki, just finding ways to get under people's skin. He is admitting that. That's planting a seed for a future moment right there. You love volleyball a little bit more than I do. Oh, there we go, reusing that Yamaguchi. Earning the free ball. Good thing Yamaguchi can pass a free ball. And they reuse that anime right there. The synchronized attack. Is he gonna kick save or kick set? No, he gets his feet under the ball. Oh, he sets it to his brother in that position. That's athletic. Ooh, that was sick. This is real, by the way. I've seen this happen in game, and this only happens when you fully trust each other. Most common mistake that middles make is they don't go up with full intent because they think they're not gonna get set. But one day you're gonna play with a setter that is gonna find you. And if they think you're good, they're gonna set you. You have to just go 100% every single time. Just like a libero has to go 100% for every single ball every time, middles just need to be up and ready as if they think they're gonna get set. Because moments like this, we wanna be ready because you're gonna score an easy point and it's gonna be at a critical moment. And more importantly, the more you do this, the more the setter's gonna set you, right? Wonder why that heartbeat sound is happening. Yeah, that's all you can do is just applaud the other amazing play from the team. Yeah, he's very good at being neutral under the ball. This is another level that maybe Kageyama has not achieved yet. Yeah, setters always try to use your hands as much as possible. Yeah, you would have given away your options and have less control. And he's embraced his role. Even the other coach is applauding for him too. So initially when we thought that Atsumu was just being a total jerk for being upset at his hitters, now that I see him in his more mature form, I think I understand why he was getting so frustrated, and I'm giving Atsumu the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes when setters are working their butt off just to get you a good set, and the hitters either aren't ready or aren't trying their hardest as much as you are, that would piss them off. That would piss me off. Like if I'm working my butt off and trying to dig a ball, or if I'm trying to really contort my body just to make sure that I can get a good spike or get good contact on the ball, and my setter's not working just as hard to try to get his hands on the ball and give me a good set, or maybe they call help, or they just get lazy and try to bump set too much, that would irritate me. And that's another thing that we have to understand about great competitors. They will respect other people that try just as hard and want it just as much. And a lot of times their frustration for great competitors comes from not them wanting to be a jerk. When they see other people not working as hard as they do, that creates some friction, and we have to be understanding of that. But more importantly, you can't let those people walk on you, right? You have to challenge them and demand the same respect for yourself. So it's twofold. And he's more considerate and more dedicated to his hitters than they know, just by showing his desire to want to contort his body just to get his hands on the ball. And I like how Kenma, you get to kind of learn the difference between him and why Atsumu is an elite setter. Ooh. Does that mean that Kageyama was inspired? Let's see if we can read a little bit more into that scene. Yeah. He says, yeah. Here's my immediate reaction to episode 21. Trying to figure out the meaning of that last scene where Hinata says yeah and Kageyama says I'm glad I came here too. Maybe because this whole time he wasn't sure about Atsumu, trying to figure out his personality and his skill level, but maybe he's glad he came here because for once he has someone to challenge him to be better. And maybe this whole time Kageyama has just been the standard for a lot of people, and now he knows what that next level Japanese youth national team standard is. And sometimes you don't get to see that unless you put yourself in the situation to see that skill level. I actually had a really interesting conversation with one of my volleyball training buddies, Kai. And for those who've been following my volleyball games, I've been competing in the VLA this year, which is the highest level of volleyball that I've played consistently. Sometimes I'll play these teams here and there at tournaments, but at these VLA tournaments, every team is really, really good. Not only did I get to enjoy playing against these top tier teams, but I learned so much in the 2 days that I play against these teams in terms of observing what some of the better hitters are doing in certain situations. And the libero from the Imaola team in particular, I was studying, I was serving against, I was hitting against, and I was just inspired by his technique and his ability to read. And in turn, that made me better. And I was telling Kai that I can play as much volleyball as I want, but until I put myself to play against better competition, I'm only gonna get so good. And we're always more ready for the next level than we think we are. And sometimes I think we spend too much time trying to be ready when we just have to throw ourselves in the fire and just learn under difficult and more challenging circumstances, because that will definitely make you better and make you better faster. If you missed any of my previous reaction videos, make sure you check out that playlist right here. And I know you're gonna like this video right here.